welcome back, fellow scrappers. 3/9's fine. Today we are going to go ahead and scrap out some cordless tools. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get working on. As you can see, my shed is full. But these have been here for a long time. I bought these. There was a pawn shop in town that closed down. All of this stuff is just ancient. None of it works, I'm sure, and if it does, it's not worth anything. So we're going to go ahead and scrap these down. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff to do in here, and I probably should just be going to town and working on it. But I also want to concentrate on making some content for you guys out there so you can see how things are done. These are fairly simple to scrap out, and I can kind of give you an idea of what we're going to have. So most of these are held together just by screws. You're going to unscrew everything. There's going to be two halves. They're going to have an electric motor in them. They're going to have a switch. They're going to have maybe some brass contacts in them. They're going to be a steel on the head more than likely, whether it's a drill or a power driver or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and pull all these out of here. And when I scrap, I kind of like to do things in mass. And you kind of get into a rhythm of flow, and you can get more done faster. Again, with something like this, if you can't operate a screwdriver and take these things apart, then there's probably not the hobby choice for you. And to me, this is a hobby. I do this on Saturdays and Sundays. I work 60 hours a week, so I don't have time during the regular week to do this, which is kind of why I've amassed a lot of stuff and it's sitting here not done. But I'm going to go ahead and get set up. We're going to go ahead and weigh all this out. We're going to see what we end up with for plastic. We're going to see what we end up with for wiring, for copper, for switches, for things like that. The disassembly part of this, I'm going to time lapse, because you're going to be bored to tears if you watch me take every one of these apart piece by piece. So if I run into something that's interesting or unusual, I will definitely slow down and we'll take a look at it, and then we'll get right back to popping away on these things. So first thing I want to do is I want to get all these weighed up. So let me get set up and we'll go throw them in the scale here and we'll see what we got. Okay, so as you can see, 25 pounds, 7.3 ounces. And we're going to do the transformers, the chargers, I guess you would call them, in a separate video. There's also some corded tools in there. I want to do those separately. We're going to focus strictly on the cordless ones in this video. And just to kind of give you an idea what we got here, we got a drill and another drill, a couple of cordless sawzalls, Black & Decker one, the old DeWalt. We have a light. I'm really not expecting much out of that. Some small, these all look like they were the same. There's a drill and a light. There's another little drill. This one might be a little interesting because this one, the charger actually plugs into it, so the battery's actually in this, I would assume. And yeah, a bunch of Craftsman. It looks like that might have been a set at one time. Looks like there's a oscillating saw, a Dremel. I don't know what that was. If anybody has any idea. That's got a strange end on it. I thought maybe it was going to be a 1/4-inch drill driver, but it's not, because this is the 1/4-inch drill driver. So, like I said, I don't have batteries or anything for any of these, so let's get to stripping these down and we'll see what we end up with. Alright, we're going to start off with the Performax cordless drill, 8-volt lithium ion. So let's take out some screws. Next, we're going after the Ryobi. Let's move on to the Craftsman one. Kind of nice. All of these have regular Phillips screws in them. I'll tell you how old they are, because if they were new, they'd have Torx in them, I'm sure. Okay, let's take a look at the DeWalt Sawzall. I don't know what that is, but looks for sure like it's wrapped with copper. So that's one of those things that we'll set aside here. Black & Decker, another Sawzall. We're going to do the Craftsman light. Alright, we're going to go after these Craftsman ones now. We'll start with the Dremel. And there's a lot of screws in these. On to the whatever this thing is. Now we're going to go move on to the Craftsman drill. And lastly, we've got the 1/4" drill driver. Alright, so that is the last of them torn apart. And I would stop right there, but we have 1, 2, 3 copper bearing motors yet to get off, and I kind of want to be a little bit accurate on this deal. So I'm going to pull these two off of these real quick. I think I just hammer that one out, so we're going to do that real quick. This guy's going to stay together. I'm not going to bore you trying to tear that one apart on camera here. So, for the purposes of what we wanted to do here today, I think we're to that point. I'm going to tear some of this stuff down because I'll tear those copper motors down. And there's some aluminum housings on this stuff I want to get. And I'll do maybe like a part 2 to kind of give you an idea where we ended up with at the very end. But for the sake of this one, we're going to go ahead and measure this stuff, weigh this stuff up, and see where we ended up. So let's head on over to the scale and let's start weighing some stuff. Okay, and we're back. I finished stripping down all the rest of that stuff that I wanted to deal with. And I got the motors broken down, and I got those cast aluminum pieces out of the sawzalls done. If you saw me struggling with that DeWalt one with the nut, it's actually reverse thread. That's why I was having a difficult time getting that one out. I did manage to get it, but so we're going to go ahead and weigh up everything we got. This is the plastic. And we have a weight of 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Alright, we'll get that tossed in the garbage because nobody around here recycles plastic. So we'll get that tossed away and we'll get the rest of this stuff measured up. Alright, let's go ahead and weigh up our steel. And I didn't break down the drill heads. Nothing worth breaking them down for. But you'll see I did pull the armatures out of the motors. So, there's all the steel that came out. 12 pounds, 14 ounces. Next. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at our copper motors. Copper bearing motors. I will be stripping these down this summer to get the copper out of them. I don't sell my copper barrel motors as such, but there's our copper motors out of there. And we're looking at 2 pounds, 8 ounces. Okay, let's take a look at our brass. Alright, so we've got our brass. The brass that we're looking here comes from the battery contacts on the tools, and it comes from the motor contacts where the brush holders hook on. 2 of these did actually have brass bushings in them, so. But there is our little pile of brass, and I do mean little. We're going to call it an ounce, but yeah, we didn't hit an ounce. Next, we'll take a look at the copper. Okay, so now we've got the brass, and this is going to be even sadder than the copper. This is going to be even sadder than the brass was, because the only copper in this motors, in these tools, is the brush holders themselves in the motors, and there's not a whole lot here. So here's our little pile of copper. That is what we got for copper out of those, and it doesn't even register. So we're just gonna say that never even happened. We're gonna take a look at the insulated copper wire next. Okay, so now we've got our copper wiring, insulated copper wiring. Again, we didn't get a whole lot out of there. I'm kind of wondering if this will even register. The other thing is, before I strip my copper wire and melt the copper, but that needs to be checked, because I can tell you right now, I am sure there is aluminum wiring in here. Usually when you see itty bitty little ones like this, that's going to be aluminum. But I don't have time to sit here and sort it all out right now. We'll see if this even registers on the scale. Yep, says we got 2.4 ounces of copper wire. So we'll put that on the board, and then we will look at our switches. Alright, we have our switches now, and obviously this is kind of a dumb deal. There's really not a weight to switches. I'll tear these apart in the future looking for silver contacts, things like that, but there's our switches. I just kind of want to get a see where the weight actually was in these, and if we look, we got 5.2 ounces on that. So we'll put that on the board. Next, circuit boards. Okay, circuit boards, and I'm sure all of these are low-grade boards. I don't have a board buyer, so I'm just kind of stripping boards, stockpiling the components, and maybe someday I'll get into precious metal recovery. Today is not the day for that, but that was our circuit boards out of those. A lot of these came out of those Craftsman ones, so they're kind of they're kind of cool. I have another idea with these things too, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, we came up to 3.1 ounces, so we'll put the 3 ounces of circuit boards on the board, and we will go after. Alright, back with our stainless. You'll remember one of those items had a stainless piece on it. This was the only stainless that was there. But there's our stainless steel, and actually not bad, just about 2 ounces there. But we're going to call it 2 ounces. And the last thing we have is the cast aluminum, so let's get that. Alright, we're back with the cast aluminum, and I'm kind of surprised at how much aluminum was in these. But bear in mind, most of that aluminum came from the Sawzalls. So, but there is our aluminum, and 1 pound, 15 ounces, so almost 2 pounds of aluminum, so that's not bad. That, I guess the moral of the story here is if you're going to go scrapping these things, go after the Sawzalls, because there's at least a little aluminum to them. So I'm going to put that 1 pound 15 on the board. I'm going to do some number crunching here, and we'll get back and see what our end result actually was. Well, we are back with the results, and let's just say it was less than a stellar afternoon. So we started out with 25 pounds, 7.3 ounces of cordless tools. We ended up with 6 pounds, 8 ounces of plastic. That was worth absolutely nothing. 12 pounds, 14 ounces of steel at 0.005 cents an ounce. Comes up to $1.03. The copper motors, 2 pounds, 8 ounces at 1.4 cents an ounce. Comes up 56 cents. Brass, 1 ounce, 14 cents an ounce, 14 cents. Copper, nothing. Copper wire, 2 ounces at 15 cents an ounce is 30 cents. Switches, we have to tear those apart yet. Circuit boards at 1.5 cents per ounce, there was 4 cents there. Stainless steel at 2.5 cents an ounce was 5 cents. And our cast aluminum, a pound 15 ounces at 4 cents an ounce, $1.24. So, our grand total for stripping all of those tools down, $3.36. Yeah. Not worth it. Just throw them in the garbage, I guess. Furthermore, I don't know, somehow we managed to lose about a pound of material somewhere along the way. Because everything weighed out at 24 pounds, 10 ounces. That might have been decimal rounding, but... So, I'm going to do a couple things yet. I'll scrap out the switches. There's silver contacts in those, and I will, of course, the copper motors, I will incinerate those. I'll melt the copper down, and I will make ingots out of that. But, yeah, this was a good lesson on what not to do. So, alright, hope you enjoyed the video. It was long, it was boring, and let's face it, pretty fruitless. Okay, until the next time, happy scrapping. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.